What is up, grappling fans? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Sparza, coming to you live right now. It is 1:12 Best Coast time. We are in for a hell of an interview here today. I have a lot to talk about with our guest, but before we do that, let's take care of some housekeeping events. Number one, if you love us, that means you love our friends over at NoGiBJJgear.com. Actually, I don't know that's true, but learn to love them because they sponsor us, and thus you love them because they sponsor us. I think that works. Anyway, if you find something on their, website, clothing, apparel, equipment that you like and you would like to purchase, if you use the promotional code GrapplingHour15, you can take, what's that? Yes, 15% off of whatever you put in the cart. And there's a lot of good stuff in there and some not so great stuff. I'll let you figure out which is which. That's not really my concern. Also, give some love to our friends at DodgyCollective.com. Look at their artwork and tell me you do not love what they do, because Tim is one of the best artists that we know. He has drawn some epic and amazing drawings that have made their way onto the rash guards and the spats, and his design is always top notch. A few words about our guest today. First and foremost, I was watching him on the Dana White Contender Series, and he was fighting one of my friends, and I didn't know that guy, but I was looking at my buddy, and that is one Drew Dober, and I said, hey, man, your guy, he's fighting here tonight. Let's see how it goes for him. And this fight was so freaking epic. I swear to God, it was so much fun. It looked entirely exhausting to watch. And I said, this kid is not only going to get a contract, but he might also bring up the person who didn't end up winning with him. That's how good this fight was. Dana White, to my recollection, gave this a standing ovation, which, if Dana White gets up for anything, it is usually indicative of some goodness. So we were truly pleased to see him do some amazing things. And today we get the opportunity to talk with newly signed UFC fighter, ladies and gentlemen, coming to us straight from the beautiful outdoors of Denver, Collin Anglin. Collin, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you so much for doing the show. How great is the air quality there?
It's good, I guess. For a while it wasn't great with the forest fires, but I don't know. Lately it's been good, I think.
I'm happy to hear that, because I know that most of that is our fault here in California. So I know that has seeped its way, unfortunately, area. But I mean, normally you go out to Denver, you always have great weather to look at. You recently made the move, but you mentioned you did so after spending 1 week there. My question to you, what happens in 1 week's time that makes you say, I'm going to uproot my life and move to Denver?
Yeah, well, it was not like just a quick decision. It's something that, me and my teammates that moved out here with me, and also my fiance, something we've talked about for quite a while now. And we knew that coming out to Denver, we were, trying out the gym to see if it was a good fit. And I guess in that week we just, we got to see, Coach Mark Montoya do his thing, and he's an amazing coach. And then just the training partners that we have here, everyone I train with are either in the UFC or, like, I guarantee they're going to be in the UFC one day. So it was a decision we made, but like in a week, but it was something we've talked about for a while and almost expected.
Well, having said that, I would also consider the following, which is you were moving during a pandemic. Were there any difficulties in doing that?
I don't think so. It was hard just to do that in general, like just to move in a week, like go home literally went home for 1 week, said, broke the news to my family and friends, and then moved out here. That was tough. In general, I think it would be hard to do, whether you're in a pandemic or not. But I don't really think it played that much of a difference, to be honest, being in the pandemic.
Fair enough. I mean, did you have to do the moving yourself? Do you hire some movers to help you get that? Do you call on a few teammates and say, like, I got pizza?
Yeah, so we my fiance came out with me. It was a quick decision because we knew we had to do our fight camps out here, me and Cody Brundage. We both had our Contender Series fights locked in, and we wanted to get started right away. Like me and my fiance, we drove out here, packed the car full, drove out here, rented just like a Airbnb for a month, for the first month, and it didn't have anything in it. We had like a bed, a couch, and a TV. And then we took that month to look for a place to stay, and we found a house to rent. And then so I flew back, and then drove a U-Haul maybe a month ago. Drove a U-Haul here with all of our stuff in it. So like for the first maybe month and a half, or maybe first 2 months, we didn't have any of our stuff. And then driving that U-Haul 20 hours is kind of a pain, but yeah, it all worked out.
That's pretty dope, man. I mean, I just look at that, and I've uprooted my life. I used to live in the Midwest. When I was doing school, I lived in Illinois and Kentucky, and I think that it was one of the best decisions of my life. But I can tell you, the actual moving of it is always the thing that you go, right, all this stuff. Yeah, okay. Well, to not have that stuff, what were you most excited to get back once you were actually able to have all of the stuff where you were currently living?
Let's see. Honestly, I was good with the couch, a TV, and a bed. I had my Xbox, so I was pretty much set.
Okay, I understand now. Now that you said you had your Xbox, I was like,
I forgot to mention that.
I know a lot of fighters definitely can survive off of very limited amount of things. But if that's it, how are you taking your mind? How are you releasing that? And then I realized, oh, no, he put the Xbox in the important luggage that had to go there. I guess that is inherently begs the question, if you do have an Xbox with you, what are the games that you play?
So I've been playing a lot of, I play like NBA 2K, I play NHL, and then I play a lot of Call of Duty. But I recently just bought a PS4, and I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I can't even think of the other one. I haven't started it yet, but I'm gonna start it after Ghost of Tsushima. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I'm all over the board. I play everything. I like story, RPGs and stuff like that.
So if that's the case, I do have to ask the question, which is, are you playing with other members of your fight camps or teams, or do you just go with strangers to get your mind out of the fight game?
Yeah, I mean, if they want to, if someone hits me up and wants to play, I'm definitely down. But most of the time, I'm just playing online by myself, or maybe with like a couple friends. But I mean, lately I haven't been playing a lot of like Call of Duty, which is like what I feel like everyone's playing. So I just haven't, I don't know, haven't played that yet with them. But most of the time I'm escaping reality a little bit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. And that's part of the reason why I ask, is because for So many fighters. I know how hilarious it is to watch them go from the fight game to going, yeah, I play UFC 4 on my PS. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're
Yeah,
supposed to
no.
not do that. They're like, hey man, I can't help it. But for you to get away from the team, I also know a series of my friends who not only fight together, but then play video games together. And I don't know which they're more competitive at. So I guess that begs the question. Do you get more mad on a tough day in camp or on a video game?
It depends. I guess probably a tough day in camp. I mean, if we're being real, but I do when like I have friends over or I'm playing my friends online. Yeah, I get pretty irritated when I lose.
Again,
But
something that I do see conveniently a lot.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, tough day in camp sucks. You know what I mean? That can that'll bother me like most of the day. So with a friend, I'll just play him again and beat him. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I definitely know there are some friends. My wife has always said very nicely. She goes, "You're pretty nice and like friendly with a number of people, but there's 10 people that you are hyper competitive with that if they beat you, that you're like, put up Monopoly again. Get fucking Candyland. We're doing that." So
Yeah.
I understand that to a certain extent. I want to start transitioning to talk about your fight, man, because this is the thing that really gained my attention of you, your game, how you like to fight. You kind of describe yourself as a wrestler, and it was kind of interesting because I could see that base for you. But now, having watched your fight with that knowledge, I could see like, oh, I see that you've been evolving your game to the point where your stand-up looked really, really solid, man. So walk me through how this fight camp worked for you, especially in the new setting, and what really most paid off when you were actually fighting at the Dana White's Contender Series.
Yeah, so when I moved out here to Colorado to Factory X, like the first thing I realized is holy crap, my stand-up game needs to get better. It just wasn't where I thought it was, and so it was a reality check, and that's I work everything every day, but that has been a major focus, and so yeah, to be when I was in there, the goal was to pressure, and eventually take him down if it presents itself. Which I did. It's just I felt better than him on the feet. So like I didn't feel like let's see, like in it. I didn't feel like I needed to rush a takedown or or I needed to get it on the ground. I felt better than him everywhere. Like I felt like if I keep standing with him, I'm gonna knock him out. I was wrong. Right? I mean, I didn't knock him out, but I tried.
Let's
Yeah, and
be
then
very clear. You threw, I think, the entire kitchen sink at that man. And it was a testament to his chin. And I don't know if you heard me mention this, but Drew Dober was in his corner. And Drew is a friend of mine.
Okay.
And, when it walks in like that, I kind of go like, oh, well, I hope your guy does well. At the very end of that fight, sent Drew a note that just goes, that man is a brick of a face. Like, Jesus Christ, kid. Like, I couldn't. I've seen many of fighters go out in situations like that, but his resolve was there, and I had the utmost respect for the performance that he put on as well. But for you, man, that was so epic. Were you feeling like as it was going on, like, okay, what is it going to take now?
No, I just felt like well, first of all, yeah, like, I have a ton of respect for him. No matter how wobbled he was, he continued to fight me. I mean, at one point he was like, completely wobbled on his feet, backing up, but he still was throwing and he was still down to fight. So yeah, I have a ton of respect for him. But what was the question again? My bad.
I was just wondering, when you get somebody who keeps pressing forward even as that's going on, I don't think that your confidence was wavering that you were going to lose the fight at any point, but you do recognize the zombie is still coming at you.
No, honestly, that shit, that's, that makes me, that fires me up. So, I wasn't thinking, man, what's it gonna take? Or I wasn't getting like discouraged because he wasn't going down. I was just like having a blast, I was just enjoying the moment, enjoying the fight, and yeah, like when he comes back at me, I'm just like, hell yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? It just pumps me up.
Spoken like a true fighter. That makes perfect sense. You always wonder when these people make the career adjustment into being fighters. When you hear someone talk like that, yeah, there's only one profession you really should be doing. So I guess it 100% makes sense. Talk to me about the adjustments that you were making in between rounds, because again, even though you do have a zombie and you are technically winning, in that first round, I felt like you were, again, putting that pressure on. Anytime you tried to reverse position, you found your way onto the top, and you were very consistent on that. And I thought that was pretty impressive. You also had his back at a certain point in that first round. So what were the adjustments you decided to make within the second and the third rounds?
Let's see, I would say between first and second round is when I made the biggest adjustment. First and second round, like in between there, I felt I was just kind of like mad at myself. I was like, oh shit, that was kind of a bad first round, and I flipped that switch and really, I think, just stuck to my game plan from there on out. And then in the second and third round, in between there, I just I knew I had like a feeling that I was gonna I don't know. I think I just gained a lot of confidence in between those two rounds. I just like I realized in that second round that I was better than him, and I realized that that if I just stick to my game plan, I'm gonna win this fight. So yeah. I mean, as far as like big adjustments, it was just reminding myself to stick to the game plan.
Understood. Now, obviously, mentally, you feel strong. You feel like you were winning the fight. There is still a little amount of nerves, I'm sure, that go along with the idea of you can win a fight and still not win a contract. So you make it to the end of the fight. You know that you've won in your head. You are told you win. How do you feel about those moments in between when you're just kind of sitting in that chair with the other folks just looking at each other like, so I guess we're just going to be in a waiting room. This is fun.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think I was just so happy that that I won the fight and that it was over. Like, it sounds weird, but when you finish a fight, like, and I don't mean like I mean like literally when the fight's over, there's a huge relief, like, just lifted off your shoulders, and so I think I was just like riding that high, and I was obviously hoping that Dana signed me, but I wasn't like too nervous. I felt like I did enough, and then I also, like I said, I was just happy to be there, honestly. Happy to be in that chair and not on my way to the hotel.
Right. And I have to say, man, one of the things that really made me laugh is because you could see it just from our perspective. My wife comes in and she hadn't seen the whole fight, but she saw enough to be like, oh God, like, so that when she takes a moment and she goes, oh, look at him, he's so happy. And I was like, well, I mean, he won a fight. Yeah. So it's pretty there. I always like to tell people, I think the best thing you can do is represent yourself and your fight game, and that you can live content knowing that you put your best version of yourself. And a lot of times it's out of your control from there. But this was one of the few times it looked like Dana almost was about to sign homeboy who lost just from the epicness of that fight. So to me, I was like, yo, if he's not fighting, or he's not signing him, I don't know what it's going to take, because I've seen all of these fights, and I just thought that this was one of the more impressive displays in terms of an entire fight, especially for you. So I was very pleased to see that they signed you up, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, he's not far off. Obviously, I think everyone knows that. He's tough, and he's got a lot of skill, so he's right there.
So you get signed. Laura talks to you. That's always great and fun as well. She's awesome. After you get off the conversation with Laura, who do you call? What do you do? How are you celebrating?
So it was so weird. I get off, end the interview with Laura, and then they take you to the the media tent, and so then you sit down, and there's some press asking questions, and Dana's up on the podium talking and answering other questions. And so I was just sitting there with my coaches, and honestly, I was just like in disbelief. I'm like, this is crazy. I just kept saying that. I think I just kept looking up at my coaches, going like, this is nuts. Not because I didn't think I would get there, just because it was just just the fact that it was happening, and just kind of overwhelmed with emotion. And you're looking up at Dana White, who you've watched as almost your whole life, and hoped one day that guy would be your boss. He's now my boss, and so I think that it was just kind of like a surreal moment. I was just really in disbelief. And then after that, I went out. I met my family. My family, my mom, my aunt, my brother, and my fiance, and then my two teammates and best friends, Cody and Bobby. They all were staying in Vegas at the Cosmopolitan, and had a big watch party and stuff. So I met them afterwards and just celebrated with my family.
Is there anybody who gives you critical feedback after that fight? Like, who's the first person to come up to you on this big upper when everybody's like, great, that was so amazing, who comes with a very important or constructive criticism?
Probably, I don't know. That night it was probably Cody Brundage. He's probably the first one to tell me like something I could have done different. I don't remember it. I'm just kind of guessing that he probably said something. He's a really smart guy, and I take his word. He's always usually in my corner. So yeah, he was probably the first one.
I say that because throughout my life, whenever I've won something or had like a big moment, I used to do speech and debate, and I would always have these moments where like I'd win a national title and somebody would come hug me and they'd be like, you were great, even though you should have taken second. And I'd be like, cool. I mean, I won. So what are you supposed to do? And those are always my closest friends, because they would always tell me something. So I was just curious if you had that with you. And Cody seems like the right person, especially somebody that you famously dumped on their head in your first meeting with him. So I would only expect him to maybe have some helpful feedback right up top.
Oh yeah, trust me, he's got me back for that plenty of times. I can't deny that. But yeah, he's definitely, after every one of my fights, I sit down, and same with his fights. We sit down and we talk about things we could have done differently and things we did well. So yeah, like I said, he's like my brother, and also he's a good coach.
Dude, that's pretty amazing. And I love the fact that both you and him move out together, and that forms a very, very important bond. between people when they make a big career jump. A lot of times people do it on their own, but to actually have somebody else who has a similar goal and series of paths that they want to get there, I think that is really cool. So I guess I really want to ask the question, when did you know? You said that you guys were friends almost immediately, but was it really just dumping him on his head that made you become friends very quickly? Like, what was the biggest sign that you said, yeah, I think this guy and I are going to be okay?
Well, we have similar interests. He's obviously he's a great wrestler and comes from a wrestling background, and just I don't know, we're just similar, and yeah, like he needed help on on some of his stand up, like his boxing, and so I helped him out a little bit there. And I mean, it was a couple weeks, of doing one-on-ones with him, and honestly I probably wasn't the guy to be teaching him back then, but whatever, yeah. And we just hit it off. He When he moved to Michigan, he stayed at my house for a couple months until he got his own place, and we went out to Liverpool together, and that was that was a great time. And then, yeah, I don't know, I was the best man in his wedding, and like I said, it's just it was just, I guess, we hit it off. I don't know.
That's pretty cool, man. All right. Well, you mentioned wrestling backgrounds. I'd love to go ahead and talk a little bit about you and where your martial arts journey began. You mentioned it was as a wrestler, but were you doing other sports when you were a kid as well?
Yeah, so I played. I did everything growing up. Whether it was for like a year or whatever. I played football, baseball, hockey, wrestling. I think I tried out for basketball one time. Like, I just did everything, and the main two that I stuck with was they were wrestling and hockey, and so I wrestled and played hockey all the way up until college, and yeah, that was it. Those are the two main sports growing up.
So obviously wrestling from a young age on in. When do you start to think, okay, maybe I have an inclination that I want to fight?
Well, I loved fighting in hockey. I loved I fought a lot, and then I watched UFC all the time, so I was a big fan. And then I kind of knew, or I kind of always had that like dream of one day maybe I could be a fighter, but it wasn't like a huge thing back then. Like, you didn't hear about MMA gyms like you do now. I always wanted to get into it, but like I said, me and my dad, like, we just didn't know how to. And then, yeah, like when I got into college is when my freshman year is when I fought for the first time. I wasn't even training at a gym. I could go on. That story is, it was my freshman year in college. I was driving like, I think just around Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I saw a sign on the side of the road that said, cage fights at K-Wing Stadium, call this number. And I thought it would be fun and kind of a funny story. So I called the number and said that, said I wanted to fight, and they called me back almost immediately and said, okay, you got to fight at 145 in like 2 weeks. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So called my called my friends and family and like told them about it, and they all came out to support me. I wasn't, like I said, I never trained at a gym before that, and so I was just like watching like UFC in my room and just like trying to mimic what they did on their feet. I knew my wrestling was good, but I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing on my feet. So I yes, I did this fight. My whole family, all my friends came out to support me. And my dad was in my corner. Uh, and all he knows is wrestling. He doesn't know anything about MMA. So the whole fight, he was just like, wrestle him. And I was trying to stand up with the guy, and I think I did a fine job for my first fight without any training. But yeah, I mainly wrestled him and just won the fight by decision. Um, I was like 18 years old. And after that, partied with all my friends and stuff. And still, I just did it for fun. I didn't think I was going to like continue to do it. Um, and then I started training at a gym in Kalamazoo called Lightning Kicks. And then I moved to Michigan State University and I started training at SFS, Scorpion Fighting System in Brighton, Michigan. And that's where I decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
I'm finding more and more of fighters who just kind of said, I don't know, man, I saw there was an event going on. And I said, why the hell not? And It is a scary amount of people that I am now finding went into a fight setting where they go, I wasn't really training in a gym yet. So kudos to you for having that resolve. And I'm very glad. Obviously, you were right to want to do that. I guess the better question now is, you mentioned that you get that one win by decision, but when does it become that you say, all right, I'm doing this as a career? Because you mentioned you were just doing it for fun. It really hadn't set forth. Was it, you kind of alluded to this, but I want to kind of be clear on it. Was it once you went to the gym for Scorpion Fighting Systems, or was it before then?
Yeah, so it was, I knew I loved it. Like I said, I was training at a gym called Lightning Kicks in Kalamazoo, but I wasn't training for a fight or anything like that. I was just going to school and just doing that for fun. And I knew I wanted to fight, but I was like, honest, I was like too scared to ask the coach at the time, and I don't know why. I think I was just shy. But so yeah, when I moved, when I went to Scorpion Fighting System, I knew I loved it, and I decided, okay, like Coach James Gray, he was like, all right, well, what do you think about doing like your first amateur fight? He didn't even know I fought before. I didn't tell him that. I was like, well, I fought when I was 18, and he was like, what? Like, how do I not know this? And yeah, so he gets me a fight, and I think that when I won that fight, it was different. Like, it was some like back. Yeah, I mean, it was just like it was called like Prison City Fight League. And I was like warming up right next to my opponent. It was really weird. But when I won that fight, I think I won by like guillotine, and it was just something was special about that one. Like, my entire family was out there like normal. But then like all my work friends, all my college friends, like made the drive out to come support me. And like, so winning in front of them and like seeing everyone just go nuts for me for just winning like at my amateur fight, it just sparked something in me. And I said, I think that night I texted my entire family, and I just like, this is, I'm going to take this as far as I can go. And they all were just on board.
You mentioned that there is a little bit of shyness in you, and I kind of get that. But how did it feel to write a text like the equivalent of new fighter who dis to your entire family? So were you nervous to send that text to everybody? And, I mean, other people could do it different ways, but you said that you texted everybody to let them know, yeah, this is forever. This is a real thing now.
Was I nervous, you said?
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't. I'm lucky. I come from like a very supportive family, and my mom always, growing up, I was just never like I was never that great in school. It wasn't until I got to college where I learned how to study and like became a good student. So like growing up, I always got bad grades and hated school, and my mom was one of the main people who always told me like I was going to do something special and do something different. She always knew like I wasn't, meant for a desk job. I was going to do something different, and she always told me that. So, when I made that text and sent that text out, I just knew that everyone was gonna support me. I think my grandma was like, all right, but like, I hate it. She's like, I'll support you, but I definitely hate it.
I mean, honestly, sometimes it's the family's responsibility to give you a little bit of hassle, but they're probably the people that you don't see that are cheering the loudest when you are fighting. So that has been something that I've seen consistent with grandmas, aunts, uncles alike, because the parents at a certain point kind of have it in their knowledge of like, he was always good at wrestling. This kid might be a fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. They don't like, even though my grandma, like, she loves that I'm being successful in it and everything, and she loves that I'm pursuing something I want, but even though she hates watching me fight, she's still never missed a fight. And everyone shows up and everyone's there to support me.
That's pretty dope. I have a few photos here because I usually do a deep dive on everybody's Instagram before they come on the show, because I have to do my research. I'm an important journalist here. So I have a few questions off a few of these photos. I hope you'll indulge a few of these questions, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. First and foremost, I guess this is an important question. Do you often fill your thermos without looking where you're like dropping in the formula there?
Yeah, all the time. That's normal. And I just always have someone taking pictures too.
Absolutely. I just looked at this and I said, this has the authenticity of seeing it in a magazine that you're reading on a flight where you go, this man is not going to drink from this thermos. This looks way too fake.
Oh, you better believe I drank from that. That's ladder sport. They're awesome.
Thank you. No, very good. We were all sure that you were going to plug them quite nicely there. I just saw that photo and I was just like, Jesus Christ. The second photo that I have to ask about is in this one right here. I know we just briefly touched upon the surrealness of him being your boss, but what is Dana White saying to you in this photo right here, sir?
In that one, he was saying, what did he say? He said, congratulations, you earned it. That's what, he said, that was a hell of a fight. And, that's what Tuesdays are about. He said, I think he said that like a couple times, that's what Tuesdays are all about. And, so he was just, super excited for me and, congratulating me.
I guess part of the reason why I asked that is because I also didn't mention you have to do the walk by, which I think is the weirdest part of the show, because when things go great and you have a fight like yours, obviously that fist bump you're giving Dana is easy to do. But that walk down Murderer's Row, when you kind of have a fight, it can be a little nerve-wracking. For you, when you did that fist bump, I saw Dana doing this thing, which is usually code for like, hey, great fucking fight there, kid.
Yeah.
Is that what he was saying to you?
Yeah, so I think I was like, I didn't realize he was right there. And my coach was like, there's Dana, I think my coach was like, I don't know what he said, like, there's Dana or whatever. And so I looked at him and he actually, he put his fist up. So he initiated the fist bump. And he was just like, hell of a fight. And, congratulations. That was fucking awesome.
Good for you. Let's go to this photo right now. Are you always this smiley during practice? Because we're again getting into this element of I don't train like that. And sometimes I'm on a good guillotine, but holy shit, look at this.
Yeah. Well, that's me training with Yusuf Zalal. And if you know Yusuf, you know that he talks a lot of shit. So when you're training with him, there's a lot of laughs and a lot of shit talking going on. So that's a genuine picture. That's actually what was happening right there.
Okay, all things considered, are you a natural trash talker? Because I have to let you know this. I know we talked a little bit about grappling experience before we got on air. I'm not good at grappling, but I am a very solid trash talker as a comic. So I have passed many a person's guard just by being a trash talker. I guess I have to ask you, are you a solid trash talker?
I'm not really that. It's not like, not really, to be honest with you. I wish I was better, but like, I mean, I think training with people that trash talk all the time has got me a little bit better at it, but it's just not like, sometimes when I trash talk, like when I'm told to trash talk, like sometimes coach would be like, talk that shit, have fun, talk shit in there. And then I start to talk shit. It's like totally not, just not real. Like it does. I'm not comfortable doing it, and it probably doesn't. Just doesn't even look right. But when I'm in there and I'm fighting and I'm in like a dog fight, like the last one, I don't really talk shit, but I do. I do like to say things like "Let's go," and you know what I mean. And that that pumps me up. But yeah, I'm not a trash talker. I wish I was a little bit better at it. Who knows? Maybe I'll get there.
I'm always happy to help people with their trash talk. I definitely am an instigator, so I'll write you some good lines.
Hey,
I
thank you.
will
I
tell you
appreciate
though, there is nothing more intimidating than you shooting a shot, someone stuffing it, and then as they're on top, they say, "Let's go." Because to me, I'm like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
this is not great. I don't know that I got a reshot in me, and I might not be able to pull a guard because I've seen those guys able to go and pass and pull, a nice little back take here." So I monitor those things as I modulate my trash talk back and forth.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I feel like you have been somebody who has been so consistent on it, and learning about you and watching a lot of your fights. What do you think has been the biggest amount of growth that you have made, and what do you attribute that to as a fighter, from being that kid who just took up on a willy-nilly nature to go and do a fight to where you are now? What have you learned the most, and what has been the most beneficial to you, sir?
It's a good question. I feel like I could go on and on, but I would say I just fighting has like made me a better person. Not saying I wasn't a good person before fighting. I believe I was, but it matured me. I've learned a lot from it. It's humbled me. I like my one loss. I learned so much about myself from that one loss, and I learned so much about like my family and my friends, and I think that fighting I think that it's just made me overall a better person, and it's Coach always says like to be and I hope I don't butcher this, but like to be a champion in the cage, you have to be a champion outside of the cage first, and so I take that very serious, and I try to just be a good friend, be a good fiance, and a good family member, and that's all lessons from fighting. So I think that it's just made me a good person or a better person.
Well, I wish that for more fighters, because we've seen it happen the opposite way. But you do seem like a good kid. You got a good head on your shoulders. Obviously, you have some support. A few people sent in a couple of notes. Obviously, Brittany Thompson just said, "Love you, call. So happy for you." And then Travis Tubbs had, I guess, an important question that I didn't cover, but I think it's always important that we go ahead and cover that. He asks, "Did anyone else take the plus 250? Thanks for the easy money, Collin."
Yeah, quite a few people did. I got, a good amount of messages saying thank you for the money. my one friend even like Venmoed me $25 and said thanks for the money, you know. So yeah, I think that yeah, a lot of people did, and I appreciate you guys for having faith in me and believing in me.
What emoji are they using to send you $25 on Venmo?
Honestly, just it was like a money sign and it said thanks for the free money.
Because, bro, I one time to my buddy sent him a note on Venmo that just said, "Hey, man, you know, you're about to start a business. I want to be one of your first clients." So I gave him like, I don't know, like $30. And I go, put this toward your business cards, right?
Yeah.
Venmo flagged me and was like, "We don't like business dealings here." And I go,
Oh, wow.
"What the fuck?" Venmo was like, "Yo, dude, I just want to give my boy some money so that he
It's
can get
$30.
started on it." You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't buy an investment share in anything here. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. I'm not
That's
Martha
hilarious.
Stewart with inside trading. I just want to support my friend. I had one more photo I wanted you to see before we start to wind things up here. And I'd love to get your, I guess, notes or thoughts on this one because I don't have a photo this cool of me grappling. So I'm a little jealous, and I think maybe in a second you'll understand why. Look at this photo. This is you hitting sweet chin music with your face turned back. Like, this is you having like an action Jean-Claude Van Damme kind of moment here. So I'm going to pull this up, but what can you tell me about this photo, sir?
You cut out for a second there. So, I lost you at Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I mean, really, that's all you needed. But I guess the question I'm asking is, what do we need to know about this photo? Because look how awesome it is captured.
Yeah, that's a cool photo. That was my banner on my Facebook for a while. I don't know. I worked that kick a lot in fight camp and for that fight and just for fun. I threw it a lot in sparring and stuff. And I don't even know if that's the right way to throw it, to be honest with you. Like I might, you know, have to be like looking over my shoulder. I don't know, but I wasn't even looking. I just threw it, you know, like a donkey kick basically. And that dude took it on the chin like a champ. He didn't even go down after that.
I just like it because I look at it and I say, like, it has that kind of fighter version of, you know, when there's an explosion in an action film and you don't even look behind you. That's what that photo looks like. It looks like the kick version of that for a fighter. So when I saw that, I was like, I'm immensely jealous of that. That looks badass. Like, that's everything, man. So that true show confidence, a true confidence in what it is that you're doing. So let me ask this, man. I mean, obviously you're just kind of waiting on the call now that you're on the UFC roster. We don't know where or when you're fighting. We don't even know who you're going to call out. But tell me, you know, hopes and dreams, what are you visualizing for the next step for your UFC career?
I just want to go on a run. I think that the ball is rolling and I just want to keep it going. So, you know, like I've said before, I'm ready to go when they give me that call, and whoever it is, I'm ready for. So yeah, I just want to have a good start to my career. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's the new goal set, and that's what I plan to do.
Well, that's great stuff, man. And Lori Brown Carey just wrote, "Way to go, nephew." So good for you, my man. I want to give you the floor right now, dude. I want to give you the opportunity to go ahead and shout out anybody who helped you get to the UFC, who helped you on the preparation for this last fight, any sponsors you want to take care of. I'm going to minimize myself, and the floor is all yours, sir.
All right. Yeah, thank you for that. I want to thank my old coach James Gray and Scorpion Fighting System back home for, you know, getting me to this point, and you know, helping me start my career and having a great place, you know, giving me a great place to do that. And then I want to thank my new gym, Factory X, all my teammates for getting me ready for this, for whooping my ass every day. You know, you got me, you prepared me well. Then let's see here. You know, obviously all the coaches at the at Factory X, Coach Mark Montoya, James Krause, who was in my corner. He stepped up on short notice to be in my corner, and that meant a lot to me, and he's a great coach and a great person. So thank you to him. And then I just want to thank my family, my friends, my support, everyone who's messaged me. I'm still going through them, still trying to get back to everyone. It might take me some time, so just, bear with me. My fiance, Mary, she was an absolute trooper for this fight camp. And really, since we've been together, she supported me from the beginning. And this fight camp, she sacrificed a lot moving here with me. And on a week's notice, she was just like, let's do it. And then just helped me so much throughout camp. I couldn't do it without her. So, thank you, Mary. I love you. And then just my sponsors. I want to thank Ladder Sports Nutrition for all the supplements they give me, and it saves me and helps me a lot during fight camp. My nutritionist, who kept me on weight all fight camp, she's amazing. I've been working with her since the beginning of my pro career. Mary Vance out of Champions Choice Nutrition in Michigan. Go Cleveland Productions, Will Finn, thank you very much for always supporting me. And then I think that's it. Hopefully I'm
Good
not
man.
forgetting anyone. It's thank you, everyone.
Well, here's the good news. You're just starting your career.
Thank you for having me on.
Please. You did all the hard work. I just tried to recognize talent when they have done the hard work and have great fights. I just really think it's important to commemorate those moments, because sometimes they get away from us and then we talk about them after the fact that they happen. So to me, it's always very important to kind of put a nice little time capsule there. And obviously, my friend Vince Cachero, he just moved out to Factory X as well. So I think he got there about the same time you did. So I feel good going, oh, dude, he's, first of all, he also takes photos and edits video. So that's kind of like my world. And the fact that he's a great fighter, it infuriates me, because I'm like, bro, you can't be both. You got to pick one. I have one. You don't get both. And I famously told him, I think he is the one good photo anybody has ever snapped of me grappling. And I looked at it. Yes, it is.
Check that out.
It's a very solid photo. And I remember telling him, I was like, bro, normally in all my photos, I look disheveled. I look like tired, old, stupid, like just barely able to breathe, which is probably very accurate. But Vince caught like this hero shot that I was like, oh, you might see that and think I look pretty good at grappling. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm glad that you guys are friends. And I told him at some point I am due to make a visit out there for my co-host Kevin. So I will hopefully get to stop by and go and see you. In the meantime, you will unfortunately be an enemy, because you are in the land of the Nuggets, and I really don't have time for that for a little bit of time. But I know you're just a visitor in an area.
Just a visitor right now. One more thing. One more thank you. I just want to thank my my agents, Iridium Sports. They're they do everything for me. They're amazing. So thank you guys so much for everything. I can't believe I just forgot you a second ago, but they, from getting me the fight to everything in between, they are amazing.
Don't worry, we plug them plenty. I know them as well in terms of how they do their stuff.
Yeah.
They have a factory of fighters that they have been just doing amazing things for.
Absolutely.
So obviously, shout out to them. But here's what's going to happen, Collin. We're going to put a bookmark here. We're going to go and end our conversation now. I'm going to close things up, but I'll say bye to you off air. I just want to thank you again for your time. And, what's really nice is you already have the pressure taken off of you, because you've already made a statement to get into the UFC. The next part is just having the career in the UFC that you have worked hard to do. So I think that with that perspective, you can really, really enjoy the fruits of your labor of years of doing all the hard work, sir. So congratulations to you, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the kind words and, having me on.
Not a problem. I'll say hi to you in just a second off air. I'm just going to close this bitch up. My thanks to Collin Anglin. Thank you very much, sir.
You got it.
All right, folks, here's what I got going on. Before we go ahead and call it a day, I just want to let you guys know tomorrow we return back with a fight companion. That's right. We are watching all of the UFC 253 plus. Look on the Verbal Tap page. We are going to have a giveaway a little bit later. So if you guys want to win a special prize, we will tell you what the prize is later. But it is a pick'em. So look at our page, circle who you think is going to win, put the fight of the night and the performances of the night. And yes, you can win a prize package from your good friends over at Verbal Tap and Grappling Hour. So that's what we got going on. Check out the latest installment, of Verbal Tap Cast. We just had Derek Garza. It's an amazing episode. He helps us preview UFC 253. But until then, guys, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be a long day, but it's going to be an amazing day. That's going to be an epic main event. That's going to do it for us. My thanks to Collin. My thanks to you. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats eventually.